I want to ask about what's it like to have, I'm prejudiced, I call it hemorrhaging, when a talent in a community gets to a certain stage and then they leave. That those who are growing in talent and skill don't stay to keep building the industry. They're gone. They're gone to New York, they're gone to LA, they're gone to London. And Canada has a history of artists working up their skill sets and then leaving. What does it feel like to have the Michael J. Foxes and the Janet Wrights and the Susan Wrights and the Brent Carvers leave on you?
Well, it's tough. It was tough during that time in the 70s, early 80s, when exactly that happened. We would bring them back. Janet eventually moved back to Vancouver. Brent never did, but we brought him back a couple of times to do a show. But they were also replaced by others that came out of either Studio 58 or UBC or SFU or wherever. That if not of the same, maybe I didn't know them as well, but gradually I got to know them, or particularly developing directors in Vancouver, directing actors who I thought should be directors or could be directors. That was very important to me in the 80s to get in the 70s I probably directed everything because I couldn't afford to hire anybody. So I directed lots of stuff, even things I probably shouldn't have directed. But by the time we had the 80s and I had this theater, the Granville Island stage, I wanted to get a team of directors that I could rely on. Not only to do musicals, but plays that I was, not particularly interested in directing myself. And so finding actors that were coming out of Studio 58 or whatever, or finding people that could be directors is very important in developing, again, a community of theater artists, that if somebody was leaving for whatever reason, that there were others that could fill their space. And then once the community, once Bard and the Beach was established for the summer and people had that long gig, actors started to, we were losing less people than we had initially. And not only that, people were moving here. So it isn't such an issue now.